Okay, good morning. We're live and we are recording. So good morning, everyone, or good afternoon or good evening for anybody who's watching on the live replay. So welcome to this psychic protection astral shielding meditation. Hope everyone is doing good. I'll just start by saying that the energies are really powerful at the minute, which is why I really felt called to do this this little free webinar and this little meditation journey, because it is intense. We're in eclipse season. We've got planets in retrograde, and as always, when the planets are in retrograde and during eclipse season, we're coming up to a full moon as well. There's always a lot of space junk flying around in the stratosphere, and some of it can be positive space junk, things that are literally in alignment with our frequency, things that are activating us, that are serving our highest potential, that are in alignment with the incoming kind of positive organic ascension frequencies. And then, of course, there are always the inorganic, artificial frequencies out there that are literally bombarding us. And we all know why, ultimately, the control narrative. And there's also a lot of psychotronic warfare by way of all of the different electromagnetic radio waves, the inorganic radio waves that we're experiencing. So ultimately, this is a journey to help to protect from all of that, from psychotronic interference, from negative radio wave interference, and ultimately all of the chaotic mental noise that's out there at the minute as well. There's a lot of negative projections and, through all the conflicts and everything that we're experiencing within the collective field. And as empaths, we can be really sensitive to ultimately to these frequencies. So it's really such an important time right now, not just this time of year when we're going through these eclipses and we're having all these different celestial gateways are being activated, but ultimately that we should, spiritual hygiene and protection should be a fundamental part of our practice anyway, especially if you are an empath. Most healers are empaths. Most of us who have got starseed indigo coding, we are super sensitive, extra sensitive even to frequency and to energy. And it's not just the inorganic negative frequencies, it's also that we're hyper vigilant and hypersensitive to all the positive, to all the organic frequencies that are upgrading us. We really feel it deeply, and ultimately, if we're not grounded, then it can potentially fry our circuits. So, spiritual hygiene by way of shielding and protecting our biofields, and also, shielding and protecting our belief processes, our thought processes, our emotional body, our spiritual body. What I'm saying is it's not necessarily that we need to, it's all about doing a, shielding meditation. Ultimately, grounding is the most fundamental part of this, because when we're not grounded, then our biofield, our toroidal shields become distorted and weak. And then we cannot repel all of the external frequencies that we're being bombarded with. When we have got a strong protective armor, when our armor is intact, when our shield is strong, then we can repel a lot of these energies. Our shield has the potential, this is why we have an electromagnetic shield. It is there to serve this exact purpose. It's there to receives all of the organic waves, all the organic spectrum that are part of the planetary consciousness, but it's also there as a protection mechanism to protect our electromagnetic fields, our internal biofields from all of the external sources. So it's really important to, to make sure that you are grounded, and because when you're grounded, your energy field is strong and healthy. As I said, your armor is intact. So we all know how to ground, so I don't need to go into grounding techniques, but ultimately just getting out in nature. And if you can't get out in nature, if the weather is not great where you are, then just imagine yourself in, sitting under a tree next to a river, or even remote viewing yourself, literally projecting your energy onto a beach or into a forest or somewhere where you're really connecting with that energy and smelling all of that around you. It's a beautiful way of grounding when you cannot get out in nature, and even 5 minutes or 10 minutes of that will really help you. So that is the first and foremost and most fundamental foundational part of protection. And then, of course, all of the other psychic protection techniques, whether you're using crystals, whether you are imagining like crystal shields around you, whether you're using, sage essences, Palo Santo, or different flower essences, etc. These are all things that, of course, are going to benefit and keep our spaces clear. So that's the other thing. It's ultimately keeping your physical space clear. So not just your room or your house, but also what's in the house. Clutter attracts chaotic energy. So again, keeping your home and your space clutter free. These are really fundamental parts of. But again, I'm not going to go too much into all these because I know that most of us are familiar with these kind of techniques. But another vital part of psychic protection and shielding ourselves is ultimately doing regular cord cutting and healthy boundary setting. Because when we, again, all of these energies, when our shield is weak, then all of these negative external energies can literally bombard our fields, our biofields, and hop into, especially again, if we're healers and we're out there picking up energies from others, not just spirit entities and vampire energies and parasitic entities, but also just negative energies by way of people's anger, people's resentment, people's fear, people's pain and trauma, that we can be really sensitive to picking all this up, and these energies can hook into our fields. So it's really important to get into a habit of doing regular cord cutting, just again, a meditation where you just visualizing or just scanning your fields to observe if there are any hooks or any cords or any tears. As you will, most of you who have been working with me a while know that this is a fundamental part of in all my trainings that I'm teaching. We're literally remote viewing and we're scanning and we're going into looking for implants and hooks and tethers and cords, and we're doing a lot of this work in the Akashic record, and also when we're going into the quantum field, that it's really important that we're cutting these cords throughout all the dimensional fields, not just, going into imagining our field and scanning the body, but we're cutting them throughout all dimensions because they can hook in through the different dimensional reality fields and ultimately into each of the different layers and levels of our consciousness. So we're clearing on a subconscious level, unconscious level, conscious level, and even clearing within the subconscious, the superconscious, because ultimately the subconscious part of our energy is also, it's a lot of people associate that with negativity, that these are negative things that are running in my subconscious. The subconscious holds everything. The subconscious is basically the Akashic record, and it holds everything, positive and negative and neutral. So we can tap into our subconscious to reprogram ourselves with positive thoughts, with positive beliefs. And we can reprogram, all of the beliefs, as again, you're all aware that we can reprogram our negative and limiting beliefs and thought forms ultimately that are going to help us to shift into another frequency, a higher frequency, because ultimately, when we're perpetuating and constantly thinking negative thoughts, then we're keeping ourselves in this lower vibration. And ultimately that will also weaken our shield. And again, when I'm talking about the shield, we're talking about all the different layers from the first dimension up to the 12th dimension. So what the meditation that I want to guide you through today, or the little journey, activation journey I want to guide you through today, is the Maharic Shield journey, because it is, in my opinion, out of all of the different meditations and shielding work that I've done, it still is the most powerful, because we're working with a 12th dimensional energy. And that 12D energy filters down all the way down to the first dimensional frequency. So rather than we're working upward from the first dimension and activating everything up and out, we're literally starting immediately with that 12th dimensional frequency and activating that through the body. Working with the merkabah, with our own personal merkabah, which is our geometrical body, and literally activating everything from inside out, rather than kind of, expanding and working from outside in. So that's why I wanted to do I was going to do something else, and then I thought, yeah, the Maharic Shield for me is still the most powerful and the most healing frequency out there. And I'll talk about that shortly. But ultimately, just to come back to the beliefs, our beliefs and thought forms, these can be positive and negative. And our beliefs and thought forms it's one of the most crucial aspects of what can damage and distort our biofields. And again, leave our shields distorted, leave our shields weak, as it can also leave our chakras weak, because ultimately whatever we believe is the energy, the vibration of that energy it creates a vacuum. And so that vacuum basically pulls in more of that same energy. So if we're perpetuating negative beliefs and negative thought forms, so for example, if you are a healer and you believe that you always pick up negative energy, then that is exactly what will happen, that you will pick up other people's energy, because ultimately what we believe becomes manifest in our physical reality. Most people know this. And it's like, I say this in all of my trainings, webinar sessions, and people probably laugh and smile at me saying this, but I can't reiterate this enough. Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you are right. And so, really tapping into the fact that how powerful our thoughts and beliefs are. So everything really does truly start with a thought form. The creation happened in that very first instance through a thought form, and that thought form created a vibration, and that vibration created the spark that literally created the first particle within the universe. So imagine that your thoughts are creating this vibration, this spark of energy in your body. So if your thoughts are positive and light and strong and healthy, then your shield is going to be strong and healthy. So that's, for me, one of the most important, so grounding and really understanding how our thoughts are influencing us. So you can change that, if you have that belief, for example, or you have that thought that I'm an empath, I'm so susceptible to picking up energies, and that is what will happen. But if you change that to, for example, my fields are healthy and strong, and I easily repel or transmute low vibrational energies. I'm safe and divinely protected in all ways. And if you change that belief to something like this, is the minute you hear yourself feeling like, we can feel that we're picking up energy, but we can stop it. We can literally block it and be like, I'm not going to engage with this. My fields are healthy and strong. I'm repelling this energy right now, and literally just, sending it back, or sending it up to source, or sending it into a body of water to transmute it. So it's really, really important to have that understanding, because for me, this is one of the most easiest tools for psychic protection, It's just to not engage with the energy that's coming in, that we can feel coming in, that we can just bounce it off and send it into the body of water to be transmuted, or send it up to source to be transmuted. So yeah, when you're making these commands, again, make sure that you're commanding and you're not asking. Don't ask your spirit guides to help you, or don't ask, you command it. You are the driver, you are the programmer, you are the creator, you are the creator, right? So when you ask your guides or God or whoever it is, you're theoretically giving your power away to an external source. So if you think about it, who are you actually even asking? Because all of it is within you already. You are all of it. You are your spirit guides. You are God. You are the creator. So taking back your power, your sovereign power, and making that command. For example, this energy or this thought is not mine. I'm returning this to the sender, or I'm sending it up to source to be cleared, cancelled, and deleted. Clear, cancel, delete. Clear, cancel, delete. and just get rid of it. If you feel like you need to do something energetically, then you can just blow everything out of your fields into, as I said, into a body of water, or visualizing sending it through a blue or a gold flame to be purified. So when you do if you are sending something back to somebody that has been projecting energy towards you, you feel that you've had a psychic attack from somebody, and you want to send that back to them, because ultimately what they're doing is, by sending you a negative thought form or a negative intention, for example, or directing negative energy towards you, they're entangling you in their own karma. So you can simply just send that back to sender, and again, refuse to engage. I'm not engaging. This is not my karma. I'm sending it back to the source, to the sender, and sending it through a blue or a gold flame or a body of water to be purified. So when it is returned to the sender, it's not necessarily toxic energy that you're sending back, because ultimately we don't want to be part of perpetuating toxicity, right? We want to heal it, as we're healers, and this is what we're here to do, to transmute. Most people who are watching this are healers, and if you're not a healer, you're here for a reason, because you want to heal, whether it's yourself or others. So getting into a habit of returning it to the sender with love, send it through a flame, send it through a body of water, send it through a blue flame, however it feels, but just not allowing yourself to engage with somebody else's karma. And it might be that you're already entangled with this person, but again, cutting the cords will help to free you from anybody that you've had toxic entanglements with, whether it's a friend, whether it's a work colleague, whether it's somebody from the past, whether it's a family member. Ultimately, we can cut the cords, because any time that we get into a conflict with somebody, we are creating an entanglement. So again, it's really important to every day, clearing my energies, releasing all energies that don't belong to me, and sending them all into the body of water or up to source to be transmuted, however you feel to. And a really powerful decree that you can also say to yourself is, and you can repeat this after me if you wish to now, but this is a really simple empowerment declaration to help to maintain your spiritual sovereignty and autonomy. Just repeating, I, and state your name, universally declare, by my own sovereign free will, from this day forward, I absolutely refuse to take on other people's energy, other people's untruths, false beliefs, thought forms, negative intentions, or any other negative energy that has been sent my way. And that includes negative energies from any inorganic external structure or source. I repel and deflect any of the aforementioned as I stand true and sovereign in my own power and authority. As I speak, so it is commanded into existence, and it is done. And that's a really powerful declaration that you're just making to yourself that is literally going to start progressively imprinting that into your fields. And you can do that every time you go out into the collective, that you can say that or make that statement or make any other statement that aligns with your energy. You know, before you're going out into busy areas or participating in group meditations where where you feel sensitive, where you feel that you are sensitive to picking up other energies. But again, just trying to change that narrative to, I repel, my fields are strong and I easily repel. And the more you say that, the stronger your fields, your shield will become. All right. So, and another really beautiful technique that I like working with is working with for example, either a Faraday cage. So this is something that's really, really easy to work with, especially if you're surrounded by 5G. If you're in a busy place and you've got 5G around you, then imagine yourself inside an obsidian bubble. That obsidian is a molten black lava that is a powerful protective shield, and you can imagine a protective sphere around you. A shiny black obsidian bubble, and this will absorb and transmute any negative frequencies that try to penetrate through your shield. So placing that outside of your own electromagnetic shield. So if you imagine that your own electromagnetic shield is 2 or 3 meters around you, and then place it outside of that so that you're literally blocking the obsidian bubbles, blocking anything from passing through your own shield. And again, obsidian's a really powerful stone. Again, it's molten black lava. It's a really powerful stone that helps to block psychic attacks, spiritual attacks, astral attacks, and also emotionally charged environments. If you're in an environment where there's a lot of, powerful energies around, it will help to block them as well. And as I said, also, if you're in an area where there's a lot of, again, you're in a building where there's loads of Wi-Fi or, again, 5G, just put your obsidian bubble around you, or a Faraday cage. Most of you might be aware of the Faraday pouches that you can actually put your phone in, these Faraday pouches. And these, if you imagine a Faraday cage around you, so you could literally surround yourself by this, and this is a super quick, like 5-minute meditation that you can do. Just see yourself surrounded with an obsidian bubble, and then around the bubble, place a Faraday cage. And that will help to, Faraday's block EMFs. And a Faraday cage is basically a metallic grid. I'm not sure if it's copper and some other, I can't remember exactly I did look it up, but I can't remember, and I haven't got the information in front of me because I wasn't actually going to talk about this. But how most of you know how I work, that I just go off on these little tangents. But the Faraday cage is really, really powerful, and I've been working with that quite a lot. And that will really help to block 5G frequencies, and also artificial, any AI, and also psychic surveillance techniques. Psychic surveillance energies, because there's a lot of, we are being tracked now with all these apps. They're stealing all our data and capturing all our data, and we are being surveilled heavily, on our planet, and also off planet. There's a lot of off planet energies that are tracking us. I won't go into that because I don't want to, that would be another webinar for another day, but the Faraday will help to cloak you. So it's a really good technique to just imagine a Faraday cage around you. Again, just look it up, and if you're not familiar with it. And when you're doing like remote viewing sessions, remote healings, or you're doing any spiritual releasing work, if you're traveling in the astral plane, if, for example, if you're aware that at night time that you are doing a lot of traveling, you're doing a lot of healing, you're doing a lot of work in the astral, then surrounding yourself in a Faraday shield before you go to sleep will help to protect you astrally. It will shield you from astral projections and any astral implants, any negative lower astral beings attempting to implant you while you're in the astral plane. So these are really powerful protection techniques that you can have in your toolkit that will really help you. And again, it's just, just practicing and working with them. But as I said, what I want to do today is go into the, to guide you through the Maharic Shield, which we're going to do now. And this is a really powerful 12D shielding, working with the merkabah. So if you're not familiar what the merkabah is, I know most of you, my regulars are familiar with merkabah. We work a lot with merkabah energy, which is basically just our geometrical shield. But for any new people who might be watching today who are not familiar, the merkabah is they refer to it as the Star of David. It's two interconnected pyramids, basically one pyramid pointing up, one pyramid pointing down, and it forms a six-pointed Star of David. So we're going to be working with the merkabah star. And this, again, we've got multiple merkabahs, multiple aspects of our geometrical shield, but ultimately the merkabah it is our light body vehicle, and it really helps to harmonize our frequencies, and it helps to restore damage within the geometrical body when we're visualizing a healthy, coherent merkabah star. It will start to progressively heal the damage and distortion in the geometrical body, in the light body. So ultimately, just to tell you a little bit about the Maharic Shield for those who are not familiar before we start, we're working with the 12th dimensional Maharata ray current, which is basically creator substance. It's hydroplasmic liquid light. So most of you will be familiar with when we're working with color frequencies. These are basically scalar wave patterns, and you can think about the aurora lights. These are primal light fields that we're working with. So each of these rays carries a frequency, and the higher the higher the ray, the higher the frequency. So we're working with the 12th dimensional Maharata ray, which is a pale silver current that is connected to the frequency of plasma. So there's a lot of plasma frequencies coming through at the minute through all the solar activations that we're having right now. But we're going even beyond that and working with hydroplasma. It's liquid light. It's basically just gas, but it's a really high frequency. And what we're going to be doing is working with this ray through the merkabah and creating a seal, a 12th dimensional seal around you, which is a current that begins the progressive releasing of all the implants and hooks and cords and all of the crystal seals that are phase locking your DNA, that are literally just keeping you stuck in these lower dimensional reality fields. It's literally helping to activate all of the subharmonics within each of the 12 strands of DNA, so that your higher DNA strands can start coming progressively back online. And when we start activating the DNA and we start getting into the higher subharmonics, this is when we start waking up on deeper levels and activating our intuitive abilities, our psychic gifts, etc., etc. But ultimately, the Maharic Shield will really help to protect your fields. As I said, it's a seal that a 12th dimensional seal that you're creating and activating around you, that will clear holographic overlays, artificial energies, AI, as I said, any psychotronic interferences. It will dissipate hooks, cords, tethers, It will repair the DNA. And ultimately, if you work with it frequently, it will help you. If you're a healer, it will help you to transmit higher frequency subharmonics during your healing sessions, allowing you to facilitate more powerful transmissions of higher light for yourself and your clients. And it ultimately protects individuals from the disharmonic energies, especially people who are channeling and people who are working with spirit guides, because there's a lot of false light out there at the minute. There's a lot of toxic new age bypassing, people tapping into dark lords and deities and shadow forces. And so ultimately, we're working with the D12 frequencies, because all the frequencies that I've just talked about, all of these lower energy frequencies, are all lower vibrational. You know, we're getting into the realm of the lower astral, the lower, the fourth dimensional, the fifth dimensional, sixth dimensional. These are the three levels of the astral body. And of course, the fourth dimensional is where all the negative, murky, toxic, negative spirits are kind of lurking around. But ultimately, you know, there are negative energies above that can filter into the oversoul body, into the kind of sixth, seventh, eighth dimensional frequencies. But nothing toxic, nothing dark can go above 12th dimensional. So this is why I felt today to do the Maharic Shield. Again, I know some of you who've done my journeys in the past, we did the Maharic Shield a few months ago, actually, when the energies were really strong then. But I really felt to do it again for this exact reason, because it will really help to repel false light. And as I said, all of the stuff that I've talked about already, and harmonize your energy. So by the end of it, you will feel like you've had a really beautiful healing. So now just come into your quiet space after all that listening and listening to that information. Just settling yourself down, closing your eyes, connecting into your breath, breathing in deeply through the nose and exhaling through the mouth, letting go of all energies that are not yours, all energies that you may have absorbed from others. Feeling a beautiful diamond white gold sphere of light above you, shining down on you, surrounding your space. Just breathing that light into your body. As you breathe in, pull that frequency in. Send it into all parts of your body. And then as you exhale, just letting go of all energies that don't belong to you. Letting go of all tension, all worries, all fears. Feel yourself becoming calmer and more relaxed. As you release through the out breath, you feel your body as you start entering into an alpha theta brainwave state. Trying to stay present through the journey so that you can facilitate these activations. But I invite you now to bring your awareness to your third eye, to the space behind the third eye, deep in the brain, at the location of your pineal gland. And imagine a white Star of David, merkabah star, just a small white merkabah star stationed in the inner field of vision on the inside of your head at the location of your sixth chakra. And On your next out breath, begin to push that white merkabah over to the left side of your body or to the left side of your head. And then bring your awareness back to the brow, to the space deep in the brain at the pineal gland. And visualize another merkabah made of dark silver light. Again, at the level of the pineal gland stationed inside the brain. And on your next exhalation, push that merkabah over to the right. And take a moment to observe the two merkabah stars. And then begin to slowly draw the two images toward each other, bringing them back to the center of the brow, inside the brain, until they have merged into one 12-pointed merkabah star made of pale silver light. This is known as the heirophant. It's a heirophant star. It is a scalar wave template that governs the release of the phase lock of the Maharic shield when we get to your Maharic shield within your morphogenetic body. So visualize the image of this pale silver 12-pointed merkabah star, the Hierophant symbol. And imagine the two merkabahs that are joined together. One begins to spin in a clockwise direction, and the other one begins to spin in a counterclockwise direction. So if you cannot imagine that, just intend it to happen. It doesn't matter which one. One spins clockwise, the other one spins counterclockwise. And this begins to spin in the brain. So this is activating the chakras in the brain. Third eye, sixth chakra, the seventh chakra, and also the ninth chakra. And on your next exhalation, using the power of your breath, push this 12-pointed merkabah star, this hierophant, push it all the way down from the sixth chakra through the central body current. Push it all the way down through the body, out of the base of the spine, between the legs, down through the Earth Star chakra, below your feet, and send it all the way down into the core of the earth, to the location of your 13th chakra at the inner earth core. And see this merkabah, this hierophant at the inner earth core, and observe it spinning in the center of the inner earth core, however that may look for you. And if you have trouble visualizing, just imagine, use the power of your imagination. Your imagination is your visualization. And you can also intend. And imagine or intend now that the hierophant begins to spin in the earth core. The dark silver merkabah and the white merkabah star spinning in opposite directions, clockwise and counterclockwise. And observe the hierophant spinning progressively faster until it takes on a life of its own and it suddenly pops and expands to form a pale silver sphere of horizontal light spinning in the earth core. And this is basically the 12th dimensional planetary Maharic shield. This is a scalar wave pattern, a 12-dimensional scalar wave pattern in the inner earth core. So you have just activated this at the inner earth core. Observe this pale silver hierophant sphere spinning in the inner earth core as it's activated in the very center of the planetary Maharic shield. And then observe, so see, sense, or imagine this horizontal pale silver disc begins to expand outward across the planetary grid and out into the atmosphere as a rotating horizontal disc. And this is healing and realigning all of the grid points in the planetary grid. So this is the scalar wave planetary shield. And as you remain aware of this planetary shield spinning on this horizontal plane, it's sending these 12-dimensional frequencies across the planet and outward into the planet's etheric body. So this is the power that we have, that we can activate these grid technologies. And now you will use the Hierophant sphere to activate your own personal Maharic shield, to release your own 12-dimensional pillar of light within your own bioenergetic fields. So take a moment to continue several long, slow, deep breaths while you continue to imagine the Hierophant spinning in the earth core. And imagine from the very center of the Hierophant, a pale silver cord extends outward from the Hierophant, plugging into the planetary Maharic shield. And then on your next inhalation, you're going to draw the Hierophant spear back up from the earth core, back through your central column, and draw it all the way back up, leaving the pale silver cord trailing behind it, plugged into the planetary Maharic shield. This is about a 6 inches thick pale silver cord. And draw the Hierophant up to your Earth Star chakra, 6 inches below your feet, allowing the pale silver cord to trail behind it, connected to the planetary shield. So one end of the pale silver cord remains rooted in the earth core, securing you and grounding you to the inner earth, to the 12th-dimensional Maharic shield within the planetary core. And the other end of the cord is attached to your Hierophant sphere that is now stationed at your Earth Star chakra, 6 inches below your feet. And I invite you now to begin to breathe in, pulling planetary current, 12th-dimensional current, up through the pale silver cord into your Hierophant at the Earth Star chakra. And do this 3 times, pulling pale silver Maharic current through your cord into the Hierophant, into your Earth Star chakra, and it begins to activate your Earth Star chakra. And as your Earth Star chakra begins to vibrate and fully activate with the 12-dimensional frequencies, it begins to spin and expand outward, with the Hierophant spinning at its center. So you've just activated your Earth Star chakra. This is your grounding chakra, the chakra that connects you to the higher frequencies of the planetary crystalline core. This chakra is often dormant in many. So take a moment to breathe deeply and observe and just feel any energies you may feel through this activation. And whenever you are ready on your next inhalation, I invite you to begin to draw the Hierophant sphere up from your Earth Star chakra, through the central body current, passing through each of the 7 embodied chakras in the center of your body, and send it all the way up the Hierophant, up and out of the head, and all the way up to 36 inches above your head to the 14th chakra, the stellar gateway. And observe the Hierophant stations within your 14th chakra stellar gateway, 36 inches above your head, the trail silver cord, the pale silver cord trailing behind it. And I invite you to inhale and pull 12th dimensional Maharic frequencies up through the pale silver cord from the planetary Maharic shield all the way up to the 14th chakra, and observe each of your chakras lighting up and activating within the central body channel as that current draws up to the 14th chakra. So you might start to feel beautiful healing frequencies. You might feel really powerful energy pulsing through your body. And observe the Hierophant spinning in your stellar gateway chakra. And take several slow, deep breaths and feel the sensation of this current of clear, pure, 12th dimensional frequency running through the body and into all systems and cells of your body. Just feel it, intend it, intend that current to restore all parts of your body systems, your organs, your glands, the blood, the bones. So it's activating and restoring all the bioenergy fields. When we start to strengthen ourselves internally, it facilitates the strengthening and the fortification of our shield, our electromagnetic shield. Bringing your awareness back to the stellar gateway and to the Hierophant in the stellar gateway chakra, 36 inches above your head. On your next exhalation, begin to push the spinning Hierophant back down through the central body channel, leaving the pale silver cord attached to your stellar gateway as it continues to bring current through the body. And move the Hierophant all the way back down to the Earth Star, 6 inches below your feet. And then push it another 6 inches down below the Earth Star. And pause the Hierophant 6 inches below the Earth Star chakra at the position of 12 inches below your feet. And this is the location. This is where the morphogenetic fields start in your body, and it's the location of your own personal scalar wave morphogenetic pattern within your body fields, the location of your Maharic shield. So breathe slowly, observing the spinning Hierophant, 12 inches below your feet. And as it spins progressively faster beneath your feet, it begins to spin faster and faster until it takes on a life of its own and pops and expands to form a horizontal disc of pale silver light spinning 12 inches below your feet. So you've now just activated your personal Maharic shield. Breathe deeply and imagine or feel even a massive rush of pale, cool pale silver energy running from your own Maharic shield. And observe that pale silver cord running through the body, still connected to the planetary Maharic shield. And it's running through the center of your personal Maharic shield. Begin to draw energy up from the planetary Maharic shield into your personal horizontal pale disc that is your personal Maharic shield, 12 inches below your feet. And keep breathing into this pale silver disc beneath your feet, pulling planetary Maharic current up. And eventually, your personal Maharic shield reaches its energy holding capacity until it cannot take in any more D12 current. And when it's reached its point, its holding capacity, it will suddenly pop and expand upward into an oscillating pale silver disc and expand outward, maybe around 6 yards either side of your body, until it forms an oscillating pale silver pillar of light that begins to extend upward toward your 14th chakra. And this is surrounding your body, permeating your body, this tube of light extending outward about 6 yards or 18 inches in diameter, all the way up to the 14th chakra, 36 inches above the head. And feel the reality of your body encased in this cool, refreshing, pale silver pillar of oscillating light. This beautiful D12 scalar wave frequency. And take a few slow, deep breaths and imagine, feel, sense the frequencies from this pillar of light emanating and pulsating throughout all of your body systems. Your bioenergetic field is now sealed with a protective barrier of the highest 12th dimensional frequency. And as this pale silver pillar light oscillates around you, just place your attention for a moment at the earth core and inhale a final spark of pale silver light from the planetary Maharic shield, from the crystalline core, drawing it up through the pale silver cord into your main vertical channel and up into your heart chakra. And repeat that 3 times, drawing pale silver current from the planetary shield into the heart chakra until it begins to form a small pale silver sphere in your heart. And breathe slowly and easily while you're building quantum energy from this silver spark. Feel it radiating in your heart chakra, the 4th dimensional astral body layer. And as you breathe in and breathe out, feel that sphere, sense that sphere getting a little bit bigger, growing a little bit bigger until it's surrounding your heart chakra, your 4th dimensional heart chakra. Creating another shield around your astral body. And as you breathe in Maharic current through the pale silver cord into your heart, the heart will reach its own energy holding capacity. And I invite you to set the intention for your heart chakra, which is connected to your astral body, to hold this D12 frequency until your body has reached its own energy holding capacity. And then the process is complete. And take a moment to witness or imagine or intend that all cords, tethers, hooks, implants within any part of your body, in your chakras, anything that's plugged into any glands or organs, any hooks, tethers, cords in your bioenergy shield, just see them all dissipating, because they can no longer sustain themselves within this 12-dimensional current, this pale silver scalar wave pattern. This is just pure liquid light permeating through your body, around your body. And knowing that you have created a seal around your astral body, the 4D heart, protecting you from any psychic attacks, psychic interferences, astral interferences, and setting the intention for the Maharic seal to remain in place throughout the day. And your body may continue to fill with this light until it reaches its own energy holding capacity. And then the planetary Maharic shield and your own personal Maharic shield will begin to slow down and stop spinning. And it will stop transmitting energy through the silver cord. And the silver cord will eventually return to its own dormant state. And this will happen progressively over the next few hours. And if you use this technique over a 3-month period, frequent, daily, consistent practice, the Maharic seal will begin to sustain itself in your bioenergetic body for longer periods of time, up to initially 12 to 14 hours, and then initially 1 to 3 days. But this takes practice, this takes time. So the more you work with this frequency, the more you work with this technique, it will hold its capacity for longer periods of time. And if you get into a habit of doing this every night before bed, you will receive a beautiful liquid light cleanse. It's a really, really beautiful clearing and cleansing energy. So setting any final intentions before you come back. Just feel yourself grounding. Feel your body beneath you, the ground beneath you. Start deepening your breath, squeezing your arms, rubbing your palms together. Anything that you need to do to make you, to come back to ground into your body, because it can be quite a deep journey. Slowly and peacefully coming back in your own time whenever you're ready. And I invite you to drink plenty of water throughout the day, because there will likely be some toxic releasing, whether it's physical toxicity or spiritual toxicity. So drink plenty of water to support that. I recommend that you avoid alcohol. I know it's Saturday and some of you might be going out. If you can avoid, or if you do, please drink plenty of water in between, because ultimately you can, it can affect you, because this has literally just activated all of your bioenergy fields. It's literally activated everything. working with the merkabah is really, really powerful. The merkabah itself it's our geometrical body. So you're activating all of these potentially dormant states within you. So please be slowly and gentle with yourself. Get out in nature, ground, and yeah, take it easy. And if you've got any questions or anything, any comments you want to leave, you may drop me a love or a like or a heart below this message, whether you're live, whether you're watching on the replay in the group, or whether you're watching on the replay in YouTube. Just drop some love if you enjoyed this journey. And reach out if you want to work on a deeper level, more personally, or you're called to the upcoming Akashic training. That starts in 2 weeks on the 27th and 28th. So yeah, reach out if you're called to that. We go much deeper into all of this scalar wave things and in the training. So yeah, this is a nice, beautiful journey that I hope you've really enjoyed it today. I hope it's brings you some beautiful healing energy. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you on the next journey. So remember, Monday, we've got the karmic completion, working with a 9/9 portal. If this calls you, again, it will be recorded, so if you can't join live, I know some of you might be working, but if you can join live, it's at 9:09 a.m. So we're keeping with the 9/9 theme. Make sure you log in a few minutes early, just in case there's any technical difficulties, because I'd like to start at 9:09 so that we're literally, as I said, really making good use of the 9 frequencies, which is all about completion and endings of cycles. So which is a perfect year in this 9 year, which is again all about completion. So yeah, see you on Monday and have a beautiful rest of your day. And thank you for joining live. Wishing you a gorgeous, gorgeous day. Take care and lots of love. Bye.